whether you are on your period or leading up to it and your body just doesn't feel at its best and you'd like some gentle movement, but you don't want to push yourself too hard, this class is for you. So today is going to be nice and slow, nice and restful, but it's going to get us moving in a mindful and restful way, and I hope that you enjoy it. We also have Bonnie here as our little helper for today, so hopefully that brings a smile to your face. She's a very good little assistant. All right, so we'll begin lying down on our backs. And feel free to take as much time in each pose that we do today as you need. You don't have to move at my pace. Just listen to your body. You can stay in whatever position that feels good for you and just really make this your own. So with your legs bent and your feet planted on the floor, take both hands to your lower belly and close down through the eyes, and we'll start with just some breathing. I encourage you to take a deep breath in through your nose if comfortable, filling up the belly with air, bringing attention to our pelvic floor as we breathe. And let it out through your mouth. A few more just like that on your own, really expanding in the belly as much as you can. And as you allow your breathing to come back to its natural rhythm, begin to lift up the feet, bringing your knees in towards your chest, assisting them closer to your torso with your hands. Give yourself a nice little squeeze, lifting up the head. And then release the head back down. Planting the left foot on the floor, we're going to take a figure 4 position with our right leg. So taking the right foot and hooking it onto the left leg, left knee, and then begin to lift the left foot back up. Now today isn't about going as deep as you can into a stretch, so don't feel like you have to reach your hands through and grab around the back of your thigh or even reach for your shin. You can even just keep your hands down by your side and hold this wherever it feels comfortable for you. We'll just begin to sway from side to side. You can keep your eyes closed if that feels natural, or you can open them up. And by all means, if it feels better to hold onto the back of your leg with your hands to assist in this movement, then please do so. Just swaying from side to side. Taking nice deep breaths to connect our breathing to the movement as we do so. And when you're ready, come into stillness for a few moments. You have the option to stay here, or you can extend your left leg up towards the sky. Again, not pushing into our flexibility or range of motion here. Just finding a gentle stretch in a way that feels good for you. Holding here as we breathe. Keeping your foot flexed or pointed or just wherever it may go. Two more rounds of breath as we hold. And then release that foot if it was extended, bringing it back to the ground and switching sides. So planting the right foot on the floor, lifting up the left and hooking that left heel onto the knee of the right foot, right leg. And then lift up the right leg, find a range that feels good for you, either hovering or you can assist the back of your leg and deepen the stretch with your hands behind it. Begin to sway first, finding some gentle movement within this pose. And then when you're ready for some stillness, either stay here or extend that right leg towards the sky and hold, focusing on our breathing, taking deep breaths with our bellies. Breathing in and out through your nose if that feels comfortable. But if it's more comfortable to breathe out through your mouth, that's okay too. Two more rounds of breath here. Make them count. Nice and big, expansive breaths. And release that foot, bringing both knees back in towards the chest for a nice little squeeze, lifting up the head. And release, bringing both feet to meet the floor. And then bring both knees out towards the right. So we're coming into a twist here. Bringing the knees towards the floor. It doesn't matter if they line up exactly. And if it's comfortable, extend your left arm out towards the left to deepen the twist, focusing on bringing that shoulder down towards the mat. And you can assist your legs by gently placing your right hand on the top left leg. You can gaze up towards the sky or over towards the left side. 4 rounds of breath here, nice and deep breaths. Really breathing into that belly space. Not just taking shallow breaths in the lungs. And then on your next breath, bring your left arm over and shift your weight over to the right and bring your right arm up underneath your ear, almost using it as a little pillow. And you can either just hold here, placing your left hand on the floor for support, and just resting in this side position, also known as the recovery position, or I think a variation of it. And maybe if you have cramps, you can use this opportunity to gently massage your belly with your top hand. Just bringing some gentle pressure to that area. And don't forget to breathe here. Try to stay connected to your deep breaths this entire time. And if your mind starts to wander and you lose track of your breathing, it's okay. Just bring it back. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Take your time. Whenever you're ready, you can begin to rotate back onto your back and flipping your knees over to the other side. Pardon my back to you here. But you can see the twist from the other side. So we're starting off with our torso twist. Knees are towards the left and our right arm is reaching out towards the side. Gazing towards the right to deepen that twist. Four rounds of deep breaths here. And when you're ready, you can come all the way over to the left side using that left arm as a pillow. And you can either stay in stillness or take this opportunity to rub your belly. Keep breathing nice and slow and steady. When I'm on my period, I tend to have really bad cramps, and I find that the more stressed I am, or the more stress I'm placing on my nervous system, the more intense those cramps feel. So even if these physical poses aren't giving you much relief, just know that taking time to calm your nervous system, to rest with purpose, it's all contributing to helping manage symptoms, even if it doesn't completely get rid of them. It's still a little act of self-care during this time of the month. When you're ready, roll back onto your back or even just come up from your side, making your way onto all fours. And then I didn't mention this at the beginning of the class, but it is in the description. I do recommend having a few props, completely optional, but if you have a bolster, that's what I recommend ideally. I don't, so I'm putting 2 blocks. You can also do 2 books, 2 pillows, and then I've just got a blanket that I'm placing over top. Coming into a wide-legged child's pose, so our knees are roughly mat width distance apart. And then walk your hands out and just settle into some stillness with your prop set up underneath. You can experiment with different levels, different amount of cushion, depending on what you feel is best today. But just find some stillness, again, focusing on our breathing and focusing on the connection between the ground, our inner thighs, and our belly area. For a count of 8 breaths here. Again, feel free to stay in any of these poses as long as your body needs it. But if you're ready, we're going to take one of the blocks, if you're using blocks, and kind of set the rest aside. You can use one cushion if you had a cushion, and if you're using a bolster, you can switch the direction so that it is horizontal on the mat. For whatever prop you've got, we're going to shift into puppy pose. So keeping our knees relatively where they are, but bringing our arms forward, lifting our hips above our knees, and sinking our chest towards the floor. Now, I do recommend you have a prop under your forehead because this isn't about going super deep into the pose. I just want this to be nice and gentle for you. So even if you do have the flexibility to go deeper, I recommend just embracing the use of props here. Again, holding for a count of around 4 breaths, since we've already been in this for a few moments. Moving that off to the side, we're actually going to maintain our puppy pose, but add a side variation of it. So walking the hands over towards the right, keep the right arm bent with your forearm planted on the ground, and then begin to sink into the pose, extending your left arm out and bringing your left shoulder towards the mat, allowing your forehead to come towards the ground. So in a side bend variation of our puppy pose. Again, you can also have a prop here. I just find it hard to kind of fit in this space, and the bent arm helps it be a little bit more supported. 4 breaths here. And then begin to walk over to the other side. You have to move your props out of the way a little bit. So bending over to the left, planting the left forearm down, reaching the right arm out, and sinking in towards the floor with our forehead and our right shoulder. 4 breaths. If you can, try to make your exhales longer than your inhales. It's another great tool for regulating our nervous system through our breathing. And walking the hands back to the center and making our way into a supported butterfly pose. So with one of your cushions, your bolster, or your blocks, just place that under your hips so like you're sitting on top of it. And then come into a butterfly pose. So feet come together, knees can come out towards the floor. If this feels uncomfortable and you have the props, like extra props, feel free to place something else underneath your knees for extra support. Otherwise, you can just kind of hang out here. And we'll just take a moment to give ourselves a self-hug. So wrapping your arms around yourself and do some gentle circles with your torso. Whenever I take a self-hug, I like to think of it as a little thank you to myself, a little moment of gratitude for taking this time for myself. So I invite you to do the same, and switching directions of your circles at the same time. And then from here, you can place your hands out in front of your feet and then just walk out into a forward fold. Now again, we're not trying to go as deep as possible, so just find a place that feels like a good enough stretch, but not pushing it. So if that's just sitting lifted like this, that's fine. If you can, fold all the way over and allow your spine to round. That's great as well. Just taking a few moments in our last main stretch of today's class. Feeling the connection again between our inner thighs being stretched here and our groin area, our belly space, and connecting those things with our breath. Taking 4 deep breaths here. Stay here as long as you need, otherwise we're going to move back to our backs and ending laying down. Give yourself one more little squeeze, holding your knees in towards your chest, lifting up your head, and then release the feet back down. Shoulders relax into the floor. Sit bones fall however they may. Neutral spine, not worrying about how your spine is right now, whether it's arched or engaged in your abs or anything. Just let it fall as it does. Arms can be by your side or both hands on your belly as we take just a few more intentional deep breaths together before we leave today. In through the nose, this time out through the mouth. Nice big exhale, let it out with sound. And again, allowing the belly to expand, filling up like a balloon, and let it out. A couple more times on your own. Then allow your breathing to return to its natural rhythm and just take note of how you feel. Thank yourself again for being here, for taking some time to move your body and take care of yourself, especially while you're not feeling your best. And that is where I leave you today. I hope you're feeling okay, and I will see you in the next one.